Good afternoon. How may I help you?
Thank you so much for making the time to meet with us today. We really appreciate it.
So what's the name of your organization and why are you here?
Compassion Corps is eager to provide immediate life-saving assistance to vulnerable populations affected by the emergency. So we'd like to work with your office to ensure that our intervention is addressing the greatest unmet needs.
First, you must share with us the details of your beneficiary list, your plans, and align that with our government priorities.
Responding effectively to this emergency is our highest priority. Beneficiaries are selected based on our vulnerability criteria, which I'd be happy to share with you. How would information on our beneficiaries be helpful?
Our government has the right to know what aid organizations are doing in our territory and how they're spending their funds. We need to ensure those activities don't compromise or threaten the state. Any organization that doesn't comply with government regulations will have to leave the country immediately.
If I've understood this correctly, you'd like to get a better understanding of what we're doing, with what funding, and if we're remaining compliant with government policies. Is that correct? Is there anything else that I should know that's of interest to you or your office?
We're also concerned about the security of our local populations, and your presence could affect that. Also, what we've experienced in the past with aid organizations is a lack of communication, and therefore duplication and wasted effort. So we need to know what each organization is doing.
Got it. So let's start with what we're hoping to do. Our initial rapid assessment showed that lack of clean water and sanitary conditions is putting lives at risk. So we've designed an effort to promote water, sanitation, and hygiene in the hardest hit communities. When we applied similar approach after the tsunami 3 months ago, there were much lower signs of cholera and other waterborne illnesses. So we'd like to focus our efforts in those communities most at risk for waterborne diseases.
As part of our assessment, we also conducted a do no harm analysis, which allows us to identify connectors and dividers between alphas and betas. And this allowed us to determine the likely impact of our interventions. Based on that, we'll be sure to communicate to our communities explicitly the criteria for our interventions, and we'll also sequence our projects around the upcoming election so they won't be mistaken to be politically motivated.
Okay, but your plans need to be aligned with our government priorities, which is to address the recent outbreak of avian flu in Karitan province.
We can understand why responding to the avian flu outbreak is critical. Our response is based on where there is a need and where we can add value. Based on our expertise, the avian flu isn't an area where we can be very helpful given other projects underway. However, given how important coordination is to you, in our last coordinating meeting, another aid agency expressed desire to respond to the avian flu. How would you feel about us getting together and reporting to you what the group is doing?
Yeah, what would that look like?
We can imagine regular check-ins so that we can understand the evolving government priorities so you can have a better understanding of what we're doing. We could also maybe check in with some municipal authorities to see what their needs are. Do you have any other ideas of things that we could do?
Could also bring together all the NGOs together, and we can go from there.
Okay, good. What sounds like a good time to meet?
How about next week in our conference room?
Sounds good. We'll talk with our peer agencies and provide you a possible agenda.